thank you. You are our future leaders, and you're the ones who will be carrying our legacy. So, 3 things you're going to do. When I say go, I'll ask you to introduce yourself to a Nisei, take a selfie or a group selfie, and number 3, to ask a question. And we'll take about 5 minutes to give you a chance to do that, and then I'll give you a time cue and ask you to stop, and we'll do just a little bit of sharing so we can learn about what you've learned from our Nisei. Got it? Okay, go!
What should we know? What should we know?
Wait, how are you guys? Actually, sure,
Along the way. It's Georgia Sundarin. Georgia Sundarin. Oh. Okay, I gotta scrunch in. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay, we look in this it's called you know, little cubicles. So now I have a lot of oh yeah,
Here,
it's
and
Harvard.
then they moved to Ontario when he was intern.
Oh yeah.
So he went to...
You know, what is wonderful is now that you've begun talking, hopefully you'll continue talking and you won't be able to stop. But it was so great to see those of you from different generations sharing your stories and asking your questions. So, our question thanks. So our question was, what lessons should we learn from our Nisei? How many of you learned something that you hadn't learned before? Fabulous. Well, before we move further, what we're going to do is we're going to ask a few of you to share what you learned from Nisei. So we'll make sure that everybody has a chance to find their seats. Thank you. Okay. So, what lessons did you learn from our Nisei? And Connie Masaoka and Lynn Longfellow have microphones, and they're going to take them to a few of you who would like to share what you learned from our Nisei. And would you identify yourself and tell us who you spoke with, and then tell us what you learned.
Hello, my name is Dina Slobach. Can you hear me?
Let's make sure that everybody can hear. And those of you at tables, will you help your table mates to know that Dina's talking now? Thank you.
Hello, I am Dina Slobach, and my father is George Nakata. I was fortunate enough to talk to Taka Mizote, who's over here at this table. And I learned from her that the lesson that I learned in terms of what should we take away from the Nisei is that Taka and her family were at the Nissa labor camps. And she said that she really learned the value of working hard. And she also was able to realize that there were blessings along the way. She met a Quaker missionary during her time there as an 18-year-old who actually was instrumental in helping her attend college. During her time at the labor camp, she was able to begin her college career and then was able to finish that following the war. So I learned the value of hard work and looking for blessings along the way.
Thank you very much for sharing. And yeah, that's another aspect, the schooling that many of you were able to continue during war. Thank you very much. Connie?
My name is Madeline. Right in here. Okay, can you hear me now? My name is Madeline. I had the pleasure of interviewing Terry Arima. And she shared with me, you know, she spent her war years in Japan, but spoke about the importance of the survival and really not having a bad attitude and not being angry about the discrimination, but really, you know, overcoming it to pave the way for future generations, and really that importance of leading by example for the future generations.
Thanks so much for sharing. Lynn, where are you? Is there another one over here? Oh, there's Lynn.
Hi, I'm Meredith Loy, and I had the pleasure of talking to Lily Kurihara. And what I learned from her is that she said you should choose your profession and go for it with guts because nothing's going to be handed to you, and you have to work hard and be willing to work for it in order to get what you want.
Thanks.
My name is Kurt Achterman. I interviewed my whole table. I talked to everyone. And some of the things are, do the best you can do, be proud of yourself, and don't be shy. Always try your best, and be brave and follow your passion. And speak up.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julianne. I interviewed my grandma, Dorothy Sato, and I'm just going to read what she said. As Nisei, we went through something terrible, but we were the quiet Americans. We didn't protest, we didn't march, we did what we were told. You learn from experience that you don't need to march to prove yourself. We were quiet, but in the end, we came through. We returned to being American citizens. We had careers and families and success. We came through the war and resumed our lives, and we won.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, I interviewed Tom Homna, and he had actually a unique experience. He was not interned because his family went to work camp in Idaho. And unfortunately, his father passed away during that time, but his brother's family, he's 15 years younger than his siblings, so he was like an only child. But his brother's family brought him back to Milwaukee, and he grew up in Milwaukee after the war, and he actually, and I know from what my mother has said, because she also grew up in Milwaukee, that he didn't face any discrimination in Milwaukee. It was very open community and probably very rare, but he actually hadn't experienced very much discrimination until he got older. So,
Thank you. Let's have just a couple more. Yes.
Hi, my name is Linnell Sagawa. I'm a Yonsei here with my grandpa, George Sagawa. And one of the best lessons that I think he's taught me through my childhood and be able to be here today, feel very blessed. But basically, his life is a life of perseverance, and he's taught my whole family and those around him the lessons of how hard work pays off. And I think he truly lives this lesson every day. I'm also blessed, and thank you for those of you that have made so many sacrifices for us. And he just talks about the importance of speaking up and the importance of never giving up on a dream through adversity and hard times and loss and love. So I'm just very blessed to be here. So thank you for everyone's sacrifice.
Thanks, Linnell.
Linda,
And we have one more.
Linda, I'm not a son.
Hi, I'm
Don't
Heidi
say-
Tolentino, and I'm a member of the JACL board here in Portland. And I had the pleasure of talking with Mr. Bill Matsuda, who's right here. And he shared with me that an important lesson that we can learn from Nisei is that regardless of whatever hardship we face, never give up. Which he spoke a little bit about how difficult that was for the Issei as well. And he had some really profound things to say. And it was a real joy to get to talk to him because after he left Heart Mountain, after the war, he moved to Ontario and actually met my grandfather, Joe Saito, and knows him. So one of the things I most appreciate about the Nisei is how connected they were to one another and how they used all of those experiences and leaned on each other to continue to grow and become the people that they are today. And I think that has been what's most affected me in my life as a Yonsei. So thank you for sharing that with me, Bill.
Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you for participating, to the Nisei for sharing your stories, but also to those of you who asked the questions. And it looks like there's one more back there who wants to share. All right.
You. Linda, can you hear me?
Yes.
You did a fantastic story. You know, it's just a coincidence, but next week or maybe the week after that, I was invited to come to the Woodland School to speak to about, how many kids would you say? Linda. 100 kids are going to show up there, and they want to hear my story about my evacuation, so it came a very timely time. And you did a fantastic job. You made me think a lot of things that I hadn't even thought about. So thanks again, Linda.
Oh, thanks, George. We're not quite done yet, but I think Homer also has a comment.
I'm Homer Yasui, and on behalf of all the Nisei here, I want to thank all of you for coming here to honor us and recognize us. We love you all. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Well, we're not quite done here yet, but I'd like to share with you a little bit more from a couple other Nisei whom I spoke with. Alice Sumida's advice to us is keep moving and be healthy. Now, of course, Alice started ballroom dancing when she was 88, and she continued until she was 95. She's now 101. And Nobi Masaoka, her advice is charge ahead. She said, you can't change the past, and we owe our community a lot, so return it if you can. Her guideline is, if I can, I'll do it. Well, you know, she still works full-time as Connie Masaoka's receptionist at the dental clinic. So she's a full-time office manager and a regular volunteer whom you'll see often. Well, I wanted to share something else with you because now that you're motivated, you're sharing stories, you're asking questions, here's another tip. And I'm sorry, but I'm a teacher, so this is the kind of thing I like to do. So here's something that you might consider. My niece, Alyssa, when she was in grade school, had some questions about her grandmother, my mom. And so she went through my mom's photo album and chose a photo that she found particularly interesting. Here's a photo of her grandmother, right here is the little girl, with a lot of relatives in a car in front of their orchard. And so Alyssa chose that photo as one that she wanted to learn more about. She was in the 4th grade, so she came up with a list of questions, and she even tried to type it for her. So those were questions that she had about Grandma, and then she sat down and asked Grandma those questions. From those questions, she wrote down some answers. And then, for example, she learned that my grandfather, an Issei, had taught my grandmother how to cook and sew. And then she wrote a summary. And I share that with you as an example because that might be a simple way for you to begin sharing more stories by finding photos that seem really interesting, and we may have a lot of questions about them, but also finding artifacts. They may be special tools, objects that you made in camp, implements, things that you wore at that time, but those can also be special ways for learning more and making these concrete examples. You're all taking steps toward learning more from our precious Nisei, and I'd like to share with you an excerpt from Lawson Inada's book, Legends from Camp. It's a book of poetry from camp, and this particular poem is called On Being Asian American for Our Children. I'll read just the last parts. Who are all your children assembled in celebration with wisdom and strength to which you are entitled. For you are at the head of succeeding generations as the rest of the world comes forward to greet you. As the rest of the world comes forward to greet you. To our Nisei, because of you, we have much to cherish as American citizens. Thank you for being our bridge, our sensei, our heroes, and for sharing your stories. We hope that you will continue to do so because we will have many more questions for you. We are so honored that you are here. Thank you very much.
I love this community. I mean, just look around this room. It's amazing. And Linda, thank you so much for that great program. We really do appreciate it. You got us all up and meeting each other and talking with each other and realizing that stories are so important to looking at our heritage and appreciating our heroes and honoring them. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. Plus, I got a selfie with my hero, Homer Yasui, so I got what I needed. So I hope everyone had a great time this afternoon. I'd like to thank everyone who participated to make this event happen. We would like to thank the Portland JACL Board, the Japanese Ancestral Society Board, Linda Tamura, of course, David Lin, thank you again for coming in, Reverend Anna Cho, Curtis and Marianne Suyamatsu, Iwasaki Brothers and Tanis Acres Nurseries, Unite People, Frank and Lois Hasebe, Martha and Yoji Matsushima, Dr. Bruce and Allison Pace, Bill Otani, Nancy Clayton, and again the staff and folks here at the MAC Club. We do want to make sure it's a rare pleasure to get everyone together like this. And now that we have all the Nisei together, we're not going to let you go yet. We have to get a photo, of course. So we're one more thing that we're asking of the Nisei. So after we say goodbye here in just a couple of minutes, we are asking all the Nisei to head over to the men's bar, which I guess is an actual bar here at the Mat Club, a men's bar. Are women Nisei involved in this as well? Can they go to in front of the men's bar? Okay, so if you just go out the door, they're going to have a photo opportunity for all the Nisei, so please remember that. The beautiful, pardon me? Are they? Oh, the forms that you have at your table, please drop those off as you leave as well, okay? Also, the centerpieces at each table were donated by Iwasaki Brothers and Tanis Acres Nurseries, and it says here in the script that we'd like you to do a different thing this year and have the youngest member at your table take that centerpiece home. I'm not going to tell you how to figure out who the youngest person at your table is. That could get very personal. But I'm guessing the Unite People folks get the, if they're at the table, they get the flowers. So, so congratulations on that. Thank you so much for coming out and for spending time with us today. Thank you very much. Have a great year. Thank you.
Back about 6 inches. Right, good, good. Turn over a little bit. Nice. Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.